All right. Hello, everyone. So let's take a look at the 14th of November. Now, this is yesterday. This is gold, remember? And with gold, we tapped that zone there. So I said pull up to sell is okay. All right. But you don't want to be selling at the lows here. We still have room to come down. So going up to sell is okay. So what could you have done yesterday? Well, this was a sell zone, as you know, and this target was done at the Astro hour. Now, if you sold here, all right, because you might have, despite the fact that it's in between levels, okay, if you had done so, you still should have been okay because the market went down a little bit, down to the support level, which we talked about, 1932.74 here, and it touched that before going up. Now, I didn't have an Astro hour here. If you go asset by asset, if you learn financial astrology, you can go asset by asset and you can go by Astro hours, which can give you these things as well in detail. All right. But you can see here that the market went down nicely. So even if you did sell here somewhere where the market had resistance, you should have been okay because that's like enough to give you 1 to 3 or even cover your trade and wait. And then, as you can see, the market just shot up from the place where they bought, went up into the target, and then sold off. Now, with gold, we can still expect maybe a little bit more up move here, okay, as we are on this line here. All right. So maybe a bit more up move is okay, going up and then selling off. On the weekly, you can see that this is too far out. But this level I did give before, there, okay, it's a bit far out, but still doable. At an Astro hour, if we're down somewhere, going up is not a bad idea with gold. There are a few gaps here, but I suspect you can buy at the daily or slightly lower equilibrium zone there to go back up again at Astro hours. All right, so we don't have a lot of Astro hours today. The pre-session and the opening is something you got to be careful about. On top of that, though, the rest are like pretty straightforward. 5, 6, 9 to 9:30 as well. So it's like pretty straightforward. And 10 o'clock is not bad. We had also 6:30 in the morning my time, 6:30, but that's not relevant for us since the hour at the moment is 7:25 my time. All right, so that's not really relevant. It was up here, and that's basically it, right? So we could have put that 6:30, 6 o'clock there. Okay. That's that. Now, if the market goes up into the weekly pivot here into this zone, okay, just be a bit mindful because if we're up here at 10 o'clock, by the time it's 10 o'clock, we might have like an aggressive move, which might disrupt the market and cause a breakout. If that happens and the market pulls back, you want to go up. So let's do this. For example, by the time we get here, the market broke out, came back into the Astro hour, you want to buy to go up there. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? So that's how we plan. You can plan it out. Also, if we go above the high of yesterday, right? Let's say we went up there, the market sizzled back sideways down into the Astro hours here, or the opening or the low of Asia. Then going back up again is logical. All right. Same setup, kind of. Think about it as a approach. Okay, and so we should have a bit more room to go up, but the market should later decide on to sell. Also looking at 53 here, 1963.64, which is on top of your 69 there. So maybe I should move this 63.64 as well here into this zone. All right. So coming into this zone is definitely an option for us. And that's it. Let's take a look at SP 500. SP 500, like we're still up here, as you can see. So what to do? Well, at the moment, the market can still fill up a little bit more. That's the goodbye kiss there. That's the indecision bar. And remember, you got to use the swing days for this. So be mindful with the SP 500. Swing day for SP 500, when that is. So you could just sit tight and wait for that day. Okay, you don't have to trade. You can just sit and wait, let the market do what it's doing. If you're really keen on trading, I said there's room to go up into those levels. And I marked those levels in yesterday. Okay, as you can see. So this is yesterday. All right, so as you can see, the Astro hours weren't really, giving us a price match as well. So if the market had, for example, come down into the weekly pivot or slightly lower down into 4370 at an Astro hour, buying would have been okay. All right. However, it didn't. So you can see we're going sideways here, which is fine. This could turn into a distribution, okay, at the tops. Why? Because we're at the tops of the market, aren't we? So here, having some kind of a distribution set up with market sweeping stops, touching price levels, and then sliding down could be the way to go. And this is how we'd like to play it. Now, on the weekly, if we get to those levels like the 57, 4455, let's say, okay, 4455 there. So if we get into that zone, let me just make this a little bigger. That's also going to be a sell level, right? So if you want to go up in order to sell somewhere, I just want you to know that we're already at high levels, okay? So, buying to go up may be a little tricky, as you can imagine, because we're already in that distribution zone, in my opinion, right? But if we do come up into these levels where the market kind of like sweeps the stops and everything, like there, which is a weekly target for 455, that'd be like nice to sell off. On the daily yesterday, remember we had, well, we didn't have that zone, so now I can get rid of this. But check this out. Check this out. See how this is all aligned with this. Okay, so what you can do is if you're using your ATAM strategy, then all you got to do is sell on the line. Okay, just wait for it, sell on the line. Okay, so that's doable as well. The support for the day is going to be the 63 zone here, which is 4,400. Okay, so 4,400 is a support level, which is your weekly pivot as well, pretty close to your weekly pivot. 4,400 is there. So if the market comes down first, that might be a better idea to buy at an Astro hour. If it comes down first into an Astro hour, then going up is not a bad idea. But if it goes up first, then obviously selling is not a bad idea, but just be mindful about which days are the swing days. Euro dollar. Now with the euro dollar, let's take a look at the daily. Now remember I said this is looking also like an upwards trend starting because we've got higher highs and higher lows, right? So buying a low to go up is not a bad idea. And this is a nice squeeze. So the support for the day is going to be this 57, which is 0685. So if I just mark in here 0685 as the support of the day, it's not a bad idea. So if the market comes into 0685 or the daily pivot, because the daily pivot, as you can see, is right there at an Astro hour, this might be an okay position here in order to go up, which will pretty much include this bar here, which is the last manipulation before it broke out the high and closed above it, right? So then coming back down a little bit into the Astro hours to go up is looking okay. To go into the targets, which I also put up yesterday. Remember that 0747 on the weekly and the daily off yesterday. Right? So if it comes down first, buying with a tight stop loss to go up is okay. You got targets here 1.0717, 1.0747, and that's basically it. Okay, so doing that is not a bad idea if it matches our Astro hours. So if I was to put the Astro hours here as well, so we'll have 9 o'clock on the platform, which is going to be 10 o'clock my time. Okay, so that's one there, and then you got the other one at 5 o'clock. Actually, 5 o'clock is also a good one, which is going to be 4 o'clock on the platform here. Okay, which is there, 4 o'clock. And then what we have here is 4:45, which is 5:45 my time. So these hours are going to be nice to trade as well. And then I can bring this one and the 6 o'clock too there, which is going to be 5 o'clock here. So this time period is good as well. So here, for example, the market may go up somewhere and then down for a retracement and then go up as well. Okay. And that's that. Now on the daily here also, you need to understand your first resistance is there, right? So the market will want to, pause there for a minute. 1.0705. So 1.0705. Now I'm going to get rid of this 0717 because this was from yesterday, right? So 1.0705 is the first target of the day, the resistance of the day. Hasn't really touched it yet, but if with the planet, there's a special planet active today, with that we might have like a breakout happening. So you have to be a little bit mindful, okay? If the market breaks below this 0685, which is here, if it breaks below that, then you must be careful. Why? Because if it breaks below the PST and if it's a nice sharp break, then it'll want to push into the lower level there, which is your 1.0641, which I'm going to put in there right now, 1.0641, and that'll be a target first. All right. And then one other thing is, if we break up, your first daily target is going to be 63.97, which is 1.0730. 1.0730, and that should be right there. All right. So now if it comes down, or if we're around here, like let's say it came down, going up, you cover the trade, okay, and then it will probably break out and then should go into those. Now the 47 is on the weekly, okay, which is that level there, 0747, the blue line. On the daily as well, what you want to know is what happens if we go even higher, which we might. Then you got to look 0750, 66 on the price. This zone is still on the cards, and because we're making higher highs and higher lows, making a higher high is logical. All right, and your goodbye kiss is on that line there, and that's your Mercury line there. So the market has got potential to go up, so be mindful. That's a nice impulse wave. Market coming back A, B, C, and then going back. This is your flag formation, right? So any dip down is okay to go up, in my opinion. And at Astro hours, look, we should break out. Okay, this is what it's looking like, especially with this planet I'm seeing, okay, which is not one of your regular planets. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. Right here, so here's Dow Jones, and that's the first Astro hour here, as you can see, right? Yesterday Dow Jones here, pretty close to, as you can see, the daily, not the daily, the weekly pivot here. Okay, chucking a UE and just going up into the Astro hour, retracing, then going into the targets, which I talked about. This is why targeting is really, really important, guys, because if you see that the market has a target on the PST, like it's likely to do it and matches your technical analysis. So having precise targets is really, really important. Now with Dow Jones as well, please be mindful about the swing days. All right, so the market could be hanging around here, okay, for those swing days. So be mindful. On the weekly, as you can see, we still have that level there, 56. Okay, so that zone I marked in before, up there. Okay, so if the market comes down first into this zone, for example, this 34,250, 226 zone here, which is this really, okay, I can just do this as well for you if you like. Okay, which is this here. All right. Also, even your, let's do this. Yeah, this bar. All right. Even your daily and your opening or slightly lower is okay to go up in there, but just be mindful. Like I said with SP 500, guys, we're like at high levels here. Okay, so we have to be a little bit more careful. It's closed in the gaps here, maybe just a tad more up into that zone. which is right there. Okay. And what's that? 34, 425, 34. 25 there. All right, so like pretty good, okay, spot. But also waiting for the swing days, or like waiting for the swing days is like not a bad idea. This could also be like a swing day setup, pre-swing day setup. All right, so mind following. If it comes down first, like I said, going up is the better option. If we're going up first, obviously, like be careful, because there are levels here the market will want to sell off at, as it did in New York yesterday. Nasdaq, let's take a look. Same kind of thing here. We're still in this zone, remember? And this is a sell zone, so I talked about this yesterday as well. So, really buying in a sell zone is a bit tricky, and this is why I said you might want to wait for the swing days. And first of all, the first resistance of the day is right here at 70, which is 15,544. Anything above that, 15,544, okay, which if this planet acts, it could, really break out into there, is fine. And might just go into that 15,640 there. So with Nasdaq, we've got to be a bit more careful, because this is like really far out. Okay, this is like far out. 65 is far out. So these levels of 15,800, okay, 800, 890, they're just like quite far out. Okay, so you might also want to just relax with Nasdaq, let it do what it needs to do. But remember, the swing day for Nasdaq was Monday, Tuesday. All right, so if we end up somewhere in this zone until 15,640, and if it doesn't break, right, 15,640 is like up there. Right, so if we also find ourselves somewhere up here, like selling is not a bad idea from these highs. If it's an astro hour, selling is okay, especially in the New York session. It could do that. Okay, and that's fine. You could go for that. Bitcoin, okay, like as you know, I'm saying from the highs, you should be selling downwards. Okay, and it looks like this is what's going on here. All right, so yesterday also I did say if it raises its head up, you could sell off. So same kind of thing here. All right, now this is yesterday, as you can see here. The market was there, they sold off. Retracements up, as you can see, the market's just selling further down, because it really should be doing that, in my opinion, right? As you can see, but we'll see how things pan out. Here, like I said, you still got a few levels up there, which you need to be careful about. So if you're going to sell, let the market go up, and don't just sell in the middle of nowhere. Now look how that gap with the weekly is pretty much closed in. Okay, so the market needs to make a decent low, okay, and kind of like break a level, which is like probably like this line plus the support here, and then it'll go up, and then we can sell off. So if we tatter up a little bit more today, let's say, you can still sell off this weekend. And with Bitcoin, remember the swing day, the swing days as well. So looking to short on the swing days might be the better option here. All right, and also keep in mind this line. So then what you could do is 37,950 or 37,950. So around here, if the market just pops up again, you're okay to sell. You're okay to sell here as well. This was a level yesterday, which, as you can see, the market broke down. So as soon as it breaks down, closes below it, nice and easy. It's just retesting that line. You see, retest, sell off, and then that's basically it. You can take a direction then as well. This is why I always say wait for the retracement before selling off, because you want to sell expensive and buy cheap here as well. So the market is still in this upwards motion, But what is giving us the idea to short is this zone here. Okay, this is already kind of like done. So when doing that, it's good to wait for a reaction. And that reaction should be like a good impulse wave down. And then on the retracement, you can sell off again. Okay. And this is like that powerful push there on the PSD. So this is a good powerful push. If it goes back up again, selling again is not a bad idea.